because I don't want to cut absolutely any more than I need because I'm trying to be really exact on my mark. It actually doesn't appear to be the tool to cut it with either. Okay, I'm going to go to my Dremel. I believe I've got a little metal blade in it, but it still should be fine. And I'll see if I can cut them off with that very carefully. Sometimes it takes a little bit of experimentation to figure out what tool you need for what job. Now, you be careful that this doesn't grab it and throw it out of your hand and stuff. And make sure you wear some kind of safety glasses. Yeah, that appears like that is actually going to cut them. Try to stay right on my line. Don't get off my mark. I'm trying to take 2 centimeters off of these. No more. That's all I need to take off of them. It is actually cutting it. It will take a while to cut these that way, but it is actually working. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work on getting these 4 nylon standoffs cut, and I'll be back. Okay, I've cut 2 centimeters off of my standoffs. I've used a plastic cutting wheel on my Dremel. I originally had the metal one on there, and the plastic one is much thinner and did a better job. And I cut 2 centimeters off of my nylon standoffs that I have, and it's I set them all up there, and I want to look at them really closely and make sure that they're really close to the same height. And they are. I've got one here, maybe just a touch too tall. I'm going to go ahead and sand it off a little. I'm going to clean these up a little too. They end up with a little bit of what I call kind of slag. It's from where the plastic melts. You got to be real careful with I'm using X-Acto's Z11 blades, and they are extra sharp. So be extra careful. Okay, knocked the slag off of that one, most of it. Do each one that way. Okay, and then I will reassemble. As far as setting my motor, I'm going to actually bolt my engine back up and see how close I am. Should be very close. That said, I'm actually considering going ahead and setting it up to be permanent, which would mean I would put my washers and everything that I'm going to end up putting on the back side. I would go ahead and put them on. I would go ahead and Loctite my nuts and everything, so on, because if I'm as close as I think I will be, if I did a good job taking my 2 centimeters off of my nylon standoffs, I should be right on the money on my mount, to be 6 3/4 to the front of the prop thrust washer. Okay, look at them. They're about the same height. Very close. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I am going to find some washers. Some larger washers. Go on the back side of the firewall. I'm actually going to have to hunt up some washers for that. Let me go ahead and shut this off and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I've got my nylon standoffs cut down. I took 2 centimeters off of them. Okay, I found some washers and everything for the back side of my firewall. I'm going to start mounting my engine, assuming that I'm right on my measurement. I'm going to go ahead and lock tight. Matter of fact, I need to replace this one little piece of fuel line first. This is a fuel line that was on this, and I don't know, where it goes through the housing, it could easily cut it, and this is where the pump is on these engines. So I'm going to see. I have got some other line. I use Tygon, and then I found another kind that I get from fuelline.com. Looks to be very high quality. The Sullivan line that I have used in the past from Tower Hobbies is real expensive and it's really bad quality. I took a tank out of one of my models that I had together for a while, and actually it's pretty fair quality line they had on there, but I took one off of one that I've had on for a while and it was just no good at all. So I'm taking great precaution on my line. Okay. That looks like that's going to work. Let me go ahead and lubricate the end a little bit. That helps to make it going where you want without breaking a fitting. This fitting taps into the back of the engine and is a plastic fitting. I don't want to break it off. The process of putting my line on. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get it on this fitting before I put it up into the housing. It's a tight fit, which is fine as long as you're careful not to break anything. Push it all the way up on the barbs on the fitting. Okay, now this one has a hole through the housing. Put the thread through.
Here are some of them. When you have a heart attack like I did, and there's no one there.
Okay, there that is. Cut it off to length, which appears to be in there somewhere.
Now, Life Alert can also protect you in a fire emergency with a system that automatically notifies our monitoring center.
Thanks to Life Alert.
Again, lubricate it a little bit. Will help tremendously. I use a hemostat to push it up sometimes. Just hold on, try to push it up as far as you can up on the barbs.
1-800-815-9442.
That's pretty fair.
Whether you're pinching pennies or shopping for steak, you will be impressed with what Price Chopper has in store for you.
Windy and mild for this afternoon with intervals of clouds and sunshine. High near 60.
That'll work. Okay, so back to bolting this thing up. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick one of my screws in. I'm going to go ahead and slide one of my nylon standoffs up. I'm going to put some Loctite on it. Okay, and I'm going to thread it through the fuselage. I might be able to actually just push this one through now. Yeah, I'll tell you what I'm going to... I'm going to go ahead and...
Tell your friends, your favorite station is now streaming online live. Go to 1029thez.com and stream the Ozarks' best country, 1029 The Z.
Weather twice an hour and the Ozarks' best choice for severe weather coverage, 1029 The Z.
But I'm going to do the same thing I did earlier. I'm going to go ahead and stick these through, and then I'm going to actually put temporary nuts on the back, which I already Loctited that in, but oh well, I can take it off here in a minute. I'm going to do this so I can get my layout for my... Go ahead and get my layout for my choke and my throttle linkage. I need to go ahead and get that layout so I know what I'm doing on that. And not only that, I'm going to recheck and make sure I'm absolutely right on my distance. I'll probably go ahead and pull my carburetor and check and make sure that I'm absolutely right on my distance, that my cowl is going to mount up just right. On this particular airplane, the cowl bolts to the front of the fuselage, and the way it mounts, you really need to be exactly right on this measurement here. You need to be exactly right so your spinner will set just right on your cowl. So this is really important, more so on this model than it is on some. And I'm going to have to go ahead and use a different bolt on this one, I believe. Some of these washers are a little too large. Go ahead and put another one in up here. I'm going to go ahead and tighten those a hair because I want to see if my measurement's right, and these could very easily pull up some when you tighten them, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten them just a hair. Let's see what I come up with. Now this one, the washer that I had on it is got a pretty small hole, and it doesn't allow it to set to the side. And these need to set to the side. So, maybe this one will work. Yeah, it looks like that one's gonna work. Yeah, I don't need to put all those on there. Okay, I'm going to have to go ahead and loosen some of these others up a little bit. Get that last one in. Should give me enough movement to get this one in. Okay, we know what we want. We want 6 3/4 inches. So let's see what we got now. Set this right here so I can use it.
The Ozarks Best Country, 1029 is Brent Eldridge and Beat of the Music. Coming up, Thomas Rhett And also got some Darius Rucker. And speaking of Thomas Rhett, he's part of that big show that we announced this morning. Brantley Gilbert, Thomas Rhett, Eric Pasley, May 1st.
It's exactly on 6 3/4 inches. So there, that's just fine. Now I need to see how I'm going to run my throttle. Okay.
Song of the day is, when you hear that song, be calling number 9 on the Timeout Sports Bar and
My throttle and my choke.
and you will win a pair of tickets before the general public can even buy them for Brantley Gilbert, Thomas Rhett, and Eric Pasley. Thomas Rhett's latest, Give Me Some of That. It's next on the Z.
Your YouTube videos for your business or professionally produced commercials suitable for TV broadcast or for trade show distribution? Call the Vacation Channel today, 417-334-1200.
It's all the way open, that's all the way closed.
And on their packages. Put your project in the hands of a company that has won more awards for their production than any
I'll mount my ignition probably right here.
Produce your next award-winning project. 417-334-1200. That's 417-334-1200. Today is the day.
Yeah, that's not bad.
He's had an amazing career. The party on the boat is a great idea until Terry slips on the wet dock. Terry needs a hero. Will you give?
You know, underneath is a little better. I think that's what they show.
Friday from 2 to 6 p.m. at the Southern Stone County Fire Protection District in Branson West.
1029 The Z, along with Dr. Klepper at Main Street Medical Clinic in Harrison and the Tyson's Food Complex in Green Forest and Maryville, remind you to please give the gift of life.
Hi, welcome to State Farm.
Hi, I want to switch to State Farm, but my husband has a hard time letting things go. He's stuck in the 90s.
Yeah. Well, if you do switch to State Farm, I can save you $500. $500?
Raise the roof. Switch to State Farm for your auto insurance, and you can save an average $500. Call 1-800-STATE FARM and get to a better state. Average household savings based on 2012 National Survey of New Policyholders who reported savings by switching to State Farm.
It looks like I could actually mount a servo right here in the front somewhere and get and work on the choke. Looks like it would be pretty easy to mount it just right there. Looks like that would actually work. I need to see
Dentures and Dental Services of Harrison.
where they're wanting you to mount the fuel tank.
For 14 years, they've been providing affordable general dentistry for the people of the Ozarks, and their fees are still among the lowest you'll find anywhere. Routine extractions are still only $39 each with immediate dentures, and you can get a complete set of replacement dentures for as low as $395. Give them a call today at 870-741-1577. Dentures and Dental Services of Harrison, where you can afford a great smile. Thomas John Kennedy of Arkansas, DDS, PLLC and Associates.
Concrete and clay roofing tiles that resemble wood shape. Composite slate shingles. Metal roofing that installs like siding. Manufactured stones for your walls that require no mortar and no mason to install. These technologies are all here today, and you won't believe how affordable they are to put on your home or business. Arrowhead is an expert exterior supply company that can show you countless ways to make your home unique and more beautiful than you ever imagined. Call 690-4733 today and come see our giant showroom in Hollister, just behind Lowe's. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
Thanks for tuning in to the Ozarks Best Country. 1029 The Z.
Yeah, girl, been digging on you, sipping on drink number 2, and trying to come over some smooth, waiting on the right time to make my move, but I just can't wait no more. Can't let you slip out that door. Prettiest thing I ever seen before. Got me spinning around, I ain't even on the dance floor. You're seeing that money maker like a heartbreaker.
I don't exactly see. I'm going to go ahead and pull the carburetor off and see how my cow's going to fit up. I know what they say, but I don't. I'm going to check it anyway. A lot of times the book is right on the money, but I don't hardly ever I check things anyway. I don't always go with what the book says as being the way it is. I've ran across several mistakes that way. And I'm going to go ahead and remove the carburetor and see if I can set the cowl up on there and see how it's going to work on this right here. I can actually take these off and set my spinner up there probably and see how it's going to work on it also. Gasket appears to be good. When I put this back, I'm going to go ahead and take the lock washers off. They just don't have quite enough threads down in it, and they've almost stripped the threads, whoever did it last. So I'll probably go ahead and I'll clean the threads, and then I'll probably take the lock washers off. But let's see how close that puts our cow. Hopefully I'll be able to set my spinner up there and push it back on this center stud that sticks out of the front of this engine. I'll be able to push that up and see how close my measurements are. Again, I've got it exactly on what the book says it should be, and that should be fine, but I don't always trust the book. The book's not always right, so I'm gonna look at it for myself. Okay, that should allow the cow to go ahead and set in place. And it does. Okay, this should set back on, and it does. And that all looks real good. I believe that's going to be fine. Now going by their measurement leaves a little more than an 1/8 room between the spinner and the front of the cowl, which is a little more than I normally use. I don't usually leave quite that much, but it doesn't hurt anything. It's a small enough of a gap that it will still look fine, so that part is fine. So, go ahead and have to figure out my linkages, my carburetor, but I'm going to go ahead and clean my threads on my bolts. I've actually over tightened these and started to peel the aluminum threads out of the other mount. Because what you do is leaves the little pieces of threads in. And the reason the way they've done that is They put lock washers on these, which is a good idea because they've got a lot of vibration. But what they've done in the process is they've not allowed enough of the bolt to go in the actual threads. So doing that, they've made it where it didn't go in far enough, and they pulled a few threads loose. So you work the threads. The threads actually, being aluminum, actually stay in the other bolt. So you make sure you get all those out of there. Matter of fact, if I had a new bolt, which I may have, let's see here what I've got. I had a new bolt. I'd put new bolts in these.
Visit adhe.edu to be sure you know the requirements to keep your Arkansas Academic Challenge Scholarship. This message brought to you by the Arkansas Scholarship Gallery.
You've known me all these years as the owner of Finnish Gallery, but I also carry the wonderful
Yeah, I don't.
mother and grandmother.
Doesn't look like I have
My children as you are the
the bolts I would need.
and making sure that they get a good night's rest, all while watching the family budget. Sound familiar? I'm Ursula James, owner of Beauty Rest Sleep Gallery, and I
Well,
understand the challenges of watching families.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little Loctite on these, and I'm going to very carefully thread them in, and that will allow them to go up a little further in the threads, which should be fine.
That seems like a smart choice for us.
I'll be real careful not to over tighten them.
Operated in the Ozarks for 15 years. Let the sleep experts at our gallery show you how to get your best night's rest at a price that fits your budget. Just 2 short minutes south of Branson at the new Highway 65 interchange in Hollister, or on the web at sleepgallery.com.
In fact, I'm going to see if I turn this carburetor the other way, what it'll do for me on my linkages.
A medical breakthrough.
Research, plain and simple.
And thanks to thousands of Arkansans who have participated in research programs at UAMS, innovative research has been developed in cancer, heart disease, mental health, and others. And scientists are grateful.
I really don't see what it'll do for me.
Research at UAMS has also
Anything.
196 patents and created 46 health
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull
$26 million in payroll.
the butterfly out, and I'm going to pull this post out.
Would you like to be involved?
And remove this little piece here that they've got flopping around.
Dreaded illness or develop a new treatment to make someone's life much better. The UAMS Translational Research Institute encourages you to visit research.
There's a keeper on this one side. It can be pretty easily removed. Just push it off to one side. It's a C-clip. Also call them Jesus clips because they usually fly off and you say Jesus. But, I'm going to remove that and look at it and see if I can do a little better job.
Detail shop for Harrison for 5 years in a row. SKD Detailing in Harrison.
Windy and mild for this afternoon with intervals of clouds and sunshine. High near 60. Below 34. Mild, partly sunny by 66. A Wednesday, breezy, mild with clouds and some sunshine. Highs 61. There could be some rain, even a thunderstorm. Wednesday night into Thursday morning. That probably lasts into Thursday afternoon. I'm AccuWeather.com.
This little shaft out. Should come right out.
As we take a look at your 1029.
Okay, that piece there
All clear across the Ozarks and currently
was just laying on there and there's no reason for it. Okay, now where did that go?
Corvettes and Classics on the bypass in Harrison. Corvettes and Classics restores.
I would say that will have to go
Besides classic vehicles, they can handle
on
everything
that end.
from a simple repair to a complete restoration
Okay.
on your little beauty. They also sell Corvette and classic parts. See Travis today at Corvettes and Classics on the bypass in Harrison.
Weather twice an hour and the Ozarks' best choice for severe weather coverage. 1029 The Z.
Let's see if there's any other way.
I'm on a cycle needs an oil change. Fence needs mending, house needs paint. I got a million things that need to be done, but baby, I can only focus on one. The way you
Small metal Loctite on it. Go ahead and put this back in. Really got to get that exactly right for that to go. It's actually going to be fairly hard to mount this carburetor on this one the right angle to get the linkage to do your choke. I might consider putting a manual choke with a bell crank, or sometimes you use not a servo horn, but a control surface horn to angle a push rod to where you can make the choke work from underneath the cowl or somewhere that's handy. Make sure that works good. It does. Go ahead and put my clip back in. Small parts are kind of hard to handle. You get used to it after a while. Make sure that's clipped all the way back in. Make sure that your choke works. I have to work on mine a hair. It's probably this position of this glue right here. So I'm going to go ahead and retighten it. Make sure it works good.